Hey there, it's Susan Milner with Florida Future Realty, and we are continuing on with our Buyers 10-part series. And on the last part of our series, we were out looking for homes and we were determining which one we really liked and wanted to write an offer on. And in today's part, we are going to be discussing writing up an offer that looks really good to the seller. So you've already picked your favorite house or two that you were interested in. And like we said in the last series, we're only going to put in one offer to start with. So you want to make sure that you're structuring the offer to get accepted. And depending on what market you're in, like we're in a pretty good seller's market right now. Most homes are selling for anywhere between 97 and over 100% of the asking price. So you may not be able to write up an offer much less than that and have a chance of getting accepted. Your agent will be able to let you know what houses are going for. And say, if you put in an offer for 60% of asking price, it's just wasting everybody's time. You want to not offend the seller, but you want to be able to get a good deal and to get what you want in the offer as well. So a good agent will be able to explain exactly how to write up the offer. This is a very general video because I'm not there with you. I don't know the property. I don't know your situation. So that being said, this is very general, but it is to remind you to make sure that between yourself and your agent that you're thinking about writing up a really nice offer. One of the biggest things that I find with offers are to make sure that they're true and complete and correct. And agents should know that, but there are agents that don't necessarily write up an offer correctly. And so I want to try to share with you what correctly means. In our contract, for instance, there are a lot of blanks that the agent should fill out. You looking at that, make sure every blank is filled out. If it's not filled out, question them why it's not filled out and what it means if it's not filled out. Some blanks automatically revert to a certain time period or information. It will state that there, but make sure that it's correct. You don't want to be signing off on an offer that's incorrect and committing you to something that you don't want to commit to. Look at all the dates. Make sure that you understand what the dates mean. There's a date for time of acceptance. That's how long you're giving the seller to respond to your offer. Generally speaking, I want to give them more than 24 hours. Maybe on the weekend, give them a little more. If you know that it's in a situation, maybe there's multiple offers or interest, you might give them 48 hours, 72 hours. But for the most part, 24 hours is sufficient amount of time for a seller to give you some kind of response on an offer. You're also going to have how long of an inspection period you need. 7 days is kind of like a very acceptable time frame in this area. Now, if you're going to be writing up offers and you have to go back up north or something and you're not sure that you can get that done within 7 days, go ahead and write it up for 10 days. I wouldn't really go over 10 days because as a seller, they're really not going to want to wait that long. They don't want to take the property off the market and wait to see if everything's going to go good on the inspection and you're going to move forward with it. So, if you can do the inspection right away, the inspector, you can get somebody out there in 3 to 5 days, write it up for a 5-day inspection period. It looks better to the seller the less amount of time you ask for that inspection, but just make sure that you're not shorting yourself, that you have time for that. So you could always just call the inspector and say, hey, I'm putting in an offer right now. When's your first available appointment? I want to make sure that I'm covered. So then you're going to have another time frame, that's the loan commitment period. This is really important, and I find that a lot of agents don't even know what it means, which is scary. Loan commitment is how long you have in order to get your full commitment on the loan. Like, you already have your pre-approval, but this is the final, the lender saying, yes, you're good. Maybe there might be a couple final conditions on it, like an updated bank statement or updated, paycheck stub or something, but it's saying, like, we are giving you the loan on the house. Generally speaking, you write that up for anywhere between 20 and 30 days. Coming with the new changes in August, you might want to give yourself 35, 40 days on that loan commitment period. But what it means to you is, say that time period comes and now we're on the date of the loan commitment and you don't have the loan commitment yet. If you don't cancel that contract or extend that loan commitment, even if you don't get your loan, you still are contracted to fulfill the obligations of the contract, and at minimum you could lose your escrow deposit. So you want to be sure that you give yourself ample time, and let's just say it's coming up due in 2 or 3 days and you don't have that loan commitment and the lender's saying you probably won't have it in time. Make sure you get with your agent, write up an addendum to extend that time period so that you don't get jammed. If you for some reason don't get your loan, you have to let them know before that time period expires in order to get your escrow deposit back. And then the last time frame you're going to have is the closing date. And again, keep that in mind. Make sure that everything's been done, title work's done, the survey's been done, the appraisal's been done, all those things, which we're going to talk about here soon, but make sure those are all done before that time period. So make sure you give yourself plenty of time when you're writing up the offer. The other thing that's really can make or break your offer is how much money you're putting down. If you're getting an FHA loan or VA loan and you're not putting a lot of money down, sometimes you think, well, why would I put a lot of money in escrow? And because you want your offer to look good to the seller, they want to know that you're a serious buyer and that you do have some money. So put at least $1,000 down. If you're not asking for closing cost assistance and things like that, try to put like $2,000 or $3,000, even $5,000 down. It looks much better to the seller. If the seller gets 2 offers around the same time and maybe your offer's a little lower in price, but you're putting a little more down in escrow, they might pick yours because you look a little more solid than the person that can only put down $500 or $1,000. So these are also things that your agent should discuss with you to make sure that your offer looks really good. If you're cash, make sure that you write up cash and put a chunk of money down. Put 10% down on the contract or 20% down on the contract, because that shows that you're legitimate, that you're a serious buyer. Make sure that everything's filled out completely. Make sure that you're using the right name that you're going to take title in. If you're married, you want to use both names. If you're both going to go on, the title and the mortgage. If you don't know how you should take title, you can ask the lender how they're going to require it. Like if you want both people to be on and only one's on the mortgage, whatever it's going to be, make sure it's done correctly. It looks unprofessional if you have to go back and change it. If you use a middle initial or a middle name, use that on your contract. Whatever you use for your legal name, make sure it's on there and on there correctly. And just make sure it looks good. Make sure you're submitting with your pre-approval letter. If it's a house that you just freaking love and you don't want to lose it, you can even write a letter talking about your situation or your family or how much you love their house. A seller is a real person just like you, and they bought that house for probably the same reasons. And if they got that alongside of your offer, they're more likely to take it. They're like, wow, this is a real person. They're going to take good care of my home. It's not an investor. It's not a whatever. It's somebody that's going to love and care for my home. People really do get attached to homes. And if they see another person that, is awesome, going to be buying it, that could really be in your favor. So these are things that can really help and help you get that offer accepted. So next week we're going to talk about some negotiations. It's going to come back and forth once you do put in that offer, but hopefully you're just going to get it accepted right away because you took the time to make your offer look really good.